going to show you how to change the track on a Polaris Edge. Alright, next you're going to want to take the exhaust off. You can either use an exhaust spring puller, like this one. You can buy this at Fleet Farm for like, I think it's like $8. Or you can just use a vice grips and possibly break your knuckles, but I like to use this. Alright, once you get the exhaust off, you can now take the secondary off. Just by this one bolt here, it's a size 1/2 inch. Throw your parking brake on. Just give her a little tap, tap, tap the room. Now it should come right out. Alright, next you're going to want to take the speedo cable out. All it is just this guy. Just, you know, I mean, it's going to come off a little harder than that, but take that guy out of there. Okay. Next you want to take the chain case cover off. There's 5 bolts or size 3/8. Ready? Alright, next you're going to want to loosen this guy here. On this chain case, it's got this guy here, and it usually 14mm seem to fit the best. Otherwise 9/16 will work. And just back that guy. Alright, now you're going to take that bottom gear off, and it was a 1/2 inch bolt that's on here. Take that guy off, and you can slide your chain. Some people might have a little more difficulty taking this chain out because this top gear might be a different size tooth. Alright, now you're going to want to take these 3 guys off here. I use a deep weld just because it's a lot easier, and they're size 1/2. Alright, now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to loosen these guys up on both sides. Sometimes it might be a little tricky because mine might be sticking, but try to back it out as best you can. So they're going to be a 9/16 or 14mm. Once you get those loosened up, then you come over here, see this bolt? You're going to want to loosen this nut, which is going to be a little more close up to the bracket here. It's going to be size 5/8. And then once you get those loosened up on both sides, then you just back this bolt out for the most part all the way out. So that way you can just pretty much kick this guy in so it pushes it forward, and then your track will be nice and loose. Okay, next you're going to do is you're going to want to find as skinny as possible a wrench as you can. I just happen to use just some generic piece of shit I found. It's a 22mm, and there's like a little bracket on here that's like rounded, and there's like flat sides on both sides. And what you do is you just stick this 22 up there. Fucking get it in there. And then you take your 14 or 9/16 over here, and you just push her out. And you're going to want to have something supporting the rear skid too while you're doing this. Now you're going to do the other side. Alright, once you get these 2 back ones out, you're going to move the front ones, and you're going to have like either 2 people or just you do it, like kind of do both sides at the same time. But I mean, sometimes like one side can be really stuck, and then like it just kind of gets a hassle. Once you get those out, I mean, you guys kind of support the rear skid while the ass end is lifted up in the air pretty good. Then the track, you know, rear skid and everything's going to drop. Then you kind of want to wiggle the front end out of the rear skid, and it should just pull out once you eventually get it. And then you're going to want to come over here. Now you can take your bearing carrier out. Set that aside. Make sure you grab their little key here. Just grab this bracket, and then now you're ready to take your jack shaft out. Okay, we took the track out, but basically what you do is you want to kind of push the track up as far as you can against the radiator here. And then you're going to want to pull the drive shaft to the left, like so, and bring it down, pull it out like that, and then your track's free. What you're going to do is you're going to, push the track up as far as you can, like you could before. This time you're going to put the drive shaft in the bearing side first, and then try to hold as level as you can, and then push it into the chain case bearing. Alright, next you just want to tighten these guys back up. Tighten this guy in. Make sure you put that little square key in there. Dude, just cut the fucking video. Okay, and then you want to put the gear back on the chain. With this gear, there's like a little bit of like a little more of a shaft, I guess you could say, a collar, maybe on the other side. Make sure that goes in first, and this is like flush, you know. Throw your chain back on. Alright, next you want to throw this guy back in there. Remember, it was at a 1/2 inch. And you're gonna put some blue or red thread lock on there. Blue is fine, so they came out of the factory with. So, and you just want to tension this baby back up. Okay, next you want to just make sure that you get everything off this seal here, because you don't want it to get fucking ripped or anything like that. Make sure it's good and clean. Alright, now you just want to tighten these full 5 bolts back up, you know. I'd say probably about medium tension. You don't have to go fucking balls to the walls on these. And you don't have to use thread locker either. Alright, the easiest way to get the brisket back in is just to raise the ass end of the sled up nice and high like we got it now, or you can just tip the sled on its side and do it. I usually just like to jack the ass end up. I don't like tipping my sleds over. Alright, and the next thing you want to do is get your front bolts in first. And basically, when you have the brisket on, make sure you just grease everything up, trick everything over. Replace the high facts that need replacing, do the bearings and whatnot. Alright, then you're just going to want to add your gear oil into the chain case. And then once you do that, then you're going to come over here and just tension up your track. And then put these bogie wheels nice and tight. And then when you're running it, run it for a good little while. You're going to come to the back of the sled, probably, I don't know, 10 feet back. And then look through the windows and see if the rails are nice and even in between the... And that tells you that your track is nice and straight and lined up. You might have to do it a couple takes.